There's Dreamers Never Die, and that is 5 from 5 for Peter Fernie. Oh, I'm getting a bit nervous for him. I don't think we've ever seen this before. We've been asking everyone here, trying to figure out. I think Pete's done 6 out of 7, but we don't know if a trainer's ever trained the whole card. So it's going to be very interesting how these last 2 races play out, and Peter sure does have good chances in the remainder of these races. So hopefully he's got the favourite in this race. Michael, which way are you going in this race?
Well, I'm actually going against the favourite, but I'm with Pete, and I just checked my numbers, and without knowing, I've tipped him for my trifecta. So, and I've actually done that in the last race as well, and I wasn't aware of it until I just had a look back through. So he has 6 winning chances in the last 2 races. That's all I'll say. That he is a very good chance. But if anybody out there knows whether a trainer's ever gone 7 from 7 here in WA, let us know. I'm just trying to think maybe a Tommy Pike up on the Northwest Circuit on the dirt tracks or somewhere like that. Please let us know, because we think this could potentially be history if this happens. But that's the last we'll mention of that for this race. Just Sublime, I think, whilst on the second line of betting, I think can take it up to the favourite here. The favourite only coming out of a maiden, was given a pretty soft lead that day, but I thought Just Sublime was pretty good last start, so I didn't think the favourite was probably a true odds-on chance, but I have thought that a couple of times today, and I've been proven wrong, so we'll see how it plays out. Your
best bet was in the previous race, Twist of Gold. He equalled favourite with Pearly Nugget for Horse of the Year up here in Kalgoorlie, and we now know Lucy Fiore, she will take out the Jockeys Award, and Peter Fernie, he'll take out the Trainers Award.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great effort by Twist of Gold. Those leaders just went hammer and tongs at each other. I thought it was a big run. The outside leader dropped off. Twist of Gold managed to stick on for second still, and given that second placing, you're right, she does tie with Pearly Nugget now, so I think that's probably a deserving finish in the end for those 2 mares, both to be the leading horses, because they've both had outstanding campaigns. Lucy Fiore's wrapped up the Jockey Premiership, and Peter Fernie's trained 52, I think it is, for 52 winners for the season so far. And I think that is the 3rd or the 4th time he's trained in excess of 50 winners in a Kalgoorlie season, which is a big achievement in itself as he wraps up his 17th Premiership.
Yeah, amazing job there. These horses are now in the mounting yard, so let's start previewing them for race 6, the Esperance Turf Club Handicap over the 1,300 metres. The first horse we'll have a look at is Just Sublime for Peter Fernie and Holly Noddle.
This is the horse I'm going for. Has finished top 5 at all 5 runs here at Kalgoorlie. Extra 100 metres here I think should suit as well, because she returned first up behind Lavish Charm, who has since won again today. So that form is instantly franked. Hit the line well from the second half of the field. Gets an extra 100 metres, which is a tick. And drops in weight here as well. Drops a kilo after the claim of Holly Noddle to be really well placed, I feel. So I think she can take it up to the favourite.
The 2 is our favourite here that you mentioned. What you're talking about for Peter Fernie also, and Lucy Fiore.
Strong win last start, but was given a pretty soft lead on that occasion. They only went steadily, led, kicked, won by nearly 2 lengths. Went back in the first up run from an awkward draw and finished off fairly behind Lavish Charm that day. But I think this horse has a bit of upside, so I do think he probably deserves favouritism, but I think Just Sublime is capable of knocking him off by the same token.
The 3 is Bedouin Villa for Paul Tapper and Rocky Chung.
Backs up off 8 days after a run at Leonora last weekend. Missed the kick on that occasion, then mustered to be heavily pressured to try find a spot. Ended up dropping out to finish a distant last. Her previous 2 runs were over 1,760 and 1,600 metres. She now drops back to 1,300. I prefer others.
The 4 is Everlasting Spirt for Helen Harding and Zephen Johnston-Porter.
First up here, hasn't won from 2 attempts first up, 2 attempts second up, and the 2 career wins to date have been over 1,400 and 1,600 metres deeper into preparations. So over the 1,300 first up, I'll look elsewhere.
The 5 is Chapelli for Peter Fernie and Tash Faithful.
Tricky mare, this one. She probably should have won first up. She got going as she hit the front by a big margin, probably a touch soon, and ended up being beaten right on the post, lost by a head on that occasion. Her runs since then have probably been a little bit below par, but I can make a case in some respect for her today, because while she's drawn awkwardly and needs a bit of luck from that gate, she's a 58 plus back to a 46 plus. She's 1,400 back to 1,300. Perhaps with Tash Faithful jumping back aboard, she could be an improver.
The 6 is El Sueno for Brett Dury and Keshaw Duran.
I think 1,300 metres is on the short side for this 7-year-old. His 1 win to date from 30 career starts was over 1,500 metres, and his best runs last preparation were over a bit further. He's second up off an 8-day turnaround after finishing third, albeit beaten 10 lengths at Leonora last start.
The 7, Mistress of Excess for Brett Dury, also in Natika Reardon.
The stablemate here has only placed once from 7 starts at Kalgoorlie, but she's hit the line really well in some of her runs. I know she's a big price here, but I actually think she's a blowout chance if she can be within striking distance turning for home. We've seen a horse like Just Famous, whilst with a lot more ability, and just circle them from back in the field. If she can be within 3 lengths of them turning for home, I actually think she's not without a mad chance here, because if you go back through her figures and her late splits, she's been running some pretty nice races this preparation.
The 8, Fiendish for Nev Newton and Jefferson Sang.
Final runner here has only won twice from 45 starts, the 8-year-old, and that last victory was more than 1,000 days ago. He is 0 from 8 this track distance as well. He drops from a 58 plus to a class 2 and actually drops 3 kilos, which is a big tick, seeing he has a claiming apprentice aboard today, but just out of form at the moment.
Okay, let's have a look at this market ahead of the second last here at Kalgoorlie. What you talking about? $3.20 into $2.20. Peter Fernie looking for 6 from 6 on today's program. Just Sublime, the stablemate, $2.20 out to $2.80. The 5, Chapilli, $3.20 out to $4.60. Everlasting Spirit, $34 into $18 for Helen Harding. Fiendish, $26 into $18. El Sueno, $14 out to $19. The stablemate Mistress of Excess, $21 out to $23. And Be Doin' Villa, $34 out to $71. Michael, how do you order the 4 here?
I'm actually against the favourite here, Amelia. I'll go 1, 2, 5 and 7. I'm with a Peter Fernie trifecta, but I think Just Sublime can take it up to the stablemate, because first up, she hit the line really well from back in the field. She ran third to Lavish Charm, who has since won again to frank that form. She gets an extra 100 metres. She drops in weight, staying in the same class. She's finished in the money at all 5 runs here at Kalgoorlie, so she hasn't done, and that's her all 5 runs of her career to date, to be honest. So she's a very consistent type, and I think she can take it up to the 2, What You Talking About, who is third up this preparation. Good run first up. Last start was able to find the front, but was given a really soft lead in front. Now rises from a maiden to a class 2 and rises 3 kilos in weight. So I did think he was a little bit vulnerable potentially as favourite. 5, Chapilli, drops in grade, drops in distance. Hopefully that can get this mare back to the form from earlier in her campaign. And 7, Mistress of Excess. She's got a tricky racing pattern, but I actually think she's a blowout chance if she's within striking distance turning for home, because some of her late figures this preparation have been quite good. She just hasn't had much luck. 1, 2, 5 and 7.
1, 2, 5 and 7, just over 3 minutes of betting time remaining. But catching up with trainer Brett Dury now ahead of his 2 horses going around here. Brett, Pete's on a roll today, so we thought we might try and catch up with someone different. But your 2 horses are at a nice each-way quote, and one that is quite interesting here today is El Sueno, second up, back on the grass today. How do you assess his chances here?
Yeah, look, at Leonora last week, he was just way too fat. He had a real good blow-up. You know, I know people will say he didn't handle the dirt, but he led, but he just raced too fierce. He was 90-odd days between runs, so hopefully with that under his belt, he's a bit better.
Out to the 1400 as well today. Does that suit him?
He probably actually needs a little bit further, but yeah, he's pulled up good. So,
Mistress of Excess is your other runner. What's the expectations with her?
Look, I really like her as a little mare. She's just, her racing pattern doesn't suit Kalgoorlie, and like most of my horses, she just hasn't drawn a barrier all year. And you know, if they draw a barrier, they can sit midfield, but mine don't, and they have to go back to last. So she's got the job in front of her, but she's got ability.
Expecting either one of them can run into the placings here?
Oh, look, if the races run right and the speed's right, Mistress of Excess can run a race, and if they walk in front, El Sueno can run a race.
Okay, best of luck here. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much.
There's Brett Dury on his 2 chances in the 6 here from Kalgoorlie. Peter Fernie's does look hard to beat here, but nice each-way chance, giving both of them a nice push there at the each-way quote. El Sueno at $3.30 the place, and Mistress of Excess $3.60. But what you're talking about is our favourite, $2.25. Peter Fernie, I should say, holds the 3 favourites here in this race. So hoping he can go 6 from 6 here on the program. Just over 1 minute until start time here, Michael. And you're going against the favourite in the second last here.
Yeah, I am. I think that she's well placed considering she drops in weight, staying in the same grade from a first up run. And she was a winner second up last preparation as well. So if she can produce that sort of effort over an extra 100 metres today, I think she can take it up to the favourite, because it is tricky for last start maiden winners when they rise in grade and rise in weight, as what you're talking about is doing. Was gifted a pretty soft lead last start and is now up 3 kilos in a stronger race. So I always tread carefully with those last start maiden winners. So hopefully, well, I think Peter Fernie's got a really good handle on this race regardless, but I think Sublime can, Just Sublime can take it up to the stablemate.
Okay, Just Sublime here on top for Michael Heaton, second up here today. And what you're talking about is our favourite, having their third start today. We'll hand you upstairs now to Royce Newton for the call.
Thanks, Amelia. Thanks, Michael. Yes, runners starting to move in here over at the 1,300 metres. This, of course, is the Esperance Bay Turf Club Handicap. And racing will start in the Bay of Isles next month. So Fiendish locked away. What you're talking about going forward, if you've backed one of these Peter Fernie runners, Just Sublime in the yellow cap, what you're talking about in the black cap, and Chapilli in the white cap as Bedouin Villa goes forward. So we're just awaiting El Sueno to come forward, who's got the barrier blanket on. Mistress of Excess dons the white cap of the two Drury runners. So El Sueno goes forward, just a field of 8. Peter Fernie, he's got the first 3 favourites engaged here as Everlasting Spirit goes forward. So we just await Mistress of Excess and Just Sublime. Approaching start time, Just Sublime $2.80. What you're talking about is at $2.40. So last one to come forward. Chapilli to complete the line. Thanks, Stu. As Tab Radio join us, this is race number 6. Peter Fernie's got all 5 on the card so far, and he's got the first 3 favourites engaged here. As Chapilli goes forward and completes the line, stand by, we're set. The Esperance Bay Turf Club Handicap, race 6 on the card. Line looks to stand well. We're ready to fly. No, attendants just not happy with one drawn in close. And now it looks to be okay. So stand by any tick of the clock now. There we go, Gates, fly back. They're off, racing. Pretty level dispatch it was too. Now just going back early on is Fiendish with early speed. It's Everlasting Spirit. Chapilli up in the firing line early on as well. They were being followed next of all by what you're talking about, getting into a nice position to the outside. We've got El Sueno 4th. A further length and a half then to Fiendish, who covers up down on the inside Bedouin Villa. And at the tail we've got Just Sublime with Mistress of Excess. So as they leave the 800 metres behind them, it's Everlasting Spirit who shows out a neck. Chapilli running second. What you're talking about third. To the outside, a half a length away, El Sueno. Then they were followed by Fiendish, who's midfield. Down on the inside, next of all, Bedouin Villa. To the outside, we've got Mistress of Excess. And towards the tail here, we've got Just Sublime on the second line of betting. 450 metres to run, and it's Everlasting Spirit who shows the way, kicks it up a gear now. Leads by a length on Chapilli. They were followed by what you're talking about. Getting to the outside now, El Sueno. Fiendish into the clear, over on the fence, Bedouin Villa, Mistress of Excess, and down the outside, Just Sublime. Inside the final 200, it's Everlasting Spirit with a kick. The outside, Chapilli, and what you're talking about coming now, but it's Everlasting Spirit. Just Sublime the outside. Everlasting Spirit holds on and goes on and wins. Everlasting Spirit first up, wins 3/4. What you're talking about second, third. We had Chapilli 4th, Just Sublime. They were followed in by El Sueno, Mistress of Excess, then Fiendish, and Bedouin Villa was last of the 8. Number 4, Everlasting Spirit at big odds has taken out race number 6. And finally, another trainer gets their name on the board. Helen Harding with this winner. Zephen Johnston-Porter in the saddle. First up today. Returns $18.60 and $2.80 on tote. And Everlasting Spirit with fresh legs comes to the races today. Was a winner 2 starts back in May. and then obviously given a bit of a spell, and at start 20 brings up win number 3 with an all-the-way win there. Helen Harding and Zephen Johnston combining with this Oratorio mare out of My Girl Chile, owned by Helen herself. Number 4, your winner. Ahead of the 2, What You Talking About, Peter Fernie, Lucy Fiore, by Omel the Talk from Dan Torina, owned by Andrew Ingalls. Third in was the 5, Chapilli, for Pete Fernie. Tash Faithful shooting the win from Princess Command, owned by Andrew Ingalls. And fourth in was Just Sublime, Pete Fernie, Holly Knottle, Justifier from Sublime Image, owned by Andrew Ingalls. 4-2-5, 1.5 a length by 118-14. The gallop there for the 1300, but this time it's Helen Harding in the winner's circle as we get downstairs and have a chat to her.
Yes, catching up here with Helen Harding. She breaks the streak of the day. Congratulations, Helen. Everlasting Spirit. A nice win first up for this mare. How was she coming into the run?
Look, she's been working fantastic. I really thought she could run top 3 today on her work. I didn't think I could beat Summer Peters, but yeah, awesome.
How impressed are you then for her to win like that and beat these horses here today?
Yeah, look, it's good. She's more a mile and needs a lot more ground. And thanks to Zeph, he's just ridden absolutely fantastic all season for me.
1,300 metres today. You touched upon then that she is more of a miler. Where do you head to next now that the Kalgoorlie round is finished?
Maybe there's a 58, 1,500 in Albany in a couple of weeks. Probably go there.
Okay, well done here. Great to see her in the winner's circle today, and yourself, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There is Helen Harding, a nice way to end the day here for herself and her stable. And here's Michael Heaton catching up with Zephen Johnston-Porter.
And that's win number 15 for Helen this season. She's had a wonderful season, and so has Zephen Johnston-Porter, because he's wrapped up the leading apprentice rider for the Kalgoorlie season. We'll touch on that in a moment. Zeph, this mare, she was able to bounce straight to the top. It looked like she was able to get a pretty soft lead in front.
Yeah, no, we crossed pretty easy, and then she had it all to herself, which was great.
For a horse that's going to be better over further, that's an encouraging return. Did she give you the feel of a horse that'll appreciate the step up in trip?
No, definitely. Just in that run itself, she thought like she finished off extremely nice and is prepared for more distance.
As I prefaced, a great season here for you in the Goldfields. You must be pleased with that award.
No, definitely. It's a great honour. Had Helen behind me for the whole season, which has been even better.
And Esperance throughout the summer for her as well?
Yes, that's the plan.
Well done here.
Thank you.
There's Zephen Johnston-Porter catching up with Michael Heaton after the win of Everlasting Spirit, partnering with Helen Harding to get a nice win there, and I'm sure plenty will be watching this horse as they head back down to Esperance. But great for young Zeffy to take out that leading apprentice award here at Kalgoorlie. 4-2-5-1 from the penultimate out of Kalgoorlie.